So say you have no idea what ADHD is. Can you explain what is it and what are kind of the big flags of like, hey, you might have this?
Okay. So ADHD stands for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. There's 3 types. Some people will tell you there's like 7 types, and there's 3 at least main types. ADHD inattentive, ADHD impulsive or hyperactive, and ADHD combined. ADHD combined is the most common. It's the one that
Okay.
I have, which means you have both the inattentive and the hyperactive. And it says attention deficit disorder, but what it actually is an overabundance of attention. Our brains don't filter out anything. So for instance, you guys, somebody who is neurotypical doesn't necessarily feel their clothes on their body.
Correct. Yes.
We do. And we will
We
feel
do.
we will feel every tag. We will feel every sock seam. We will feel every underwear shift, where most
Okay.
people don't feel that. If we're in a restaurant that's noisy, we can pay attention to everybody's conversation, where most people can like filter it out and focus.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't do that. And it's because our brains either don't produce enough of some neurotransmitter chemicals, or they don't efficiently use it.
Guess what, guys? I'm not a doctor. So if you're going to be making any major medical decisions, please consult your doctor. That includes diets, exercise, medications, and surgery. I love you guys, and be careful and consult your doctor.
Welcome back, our Sleep Like podcast. I am your host, Mel, as always. And today we got something special. It is a patient, but also someone that is well-versed in the area of ADHD. And we all know there's a lot that goes with ADHD and weight loss and how our minds work and why we obsess about things. So I wanted to get someone on that knows what they're talking about. So welcome on, Rebecca Robbins. I appreciate you so much. How's your day going?
My day's going okay. Yeah.
Good.
It's the week before October and I teach high school. So the week before Halloween and I teach high school. So it's crazy.
Oh, there's probably lots of decorations and costumes and everything going.
Yeah, and a lot of sugar, which
a lot
of sugar.
Yeah, can't forget about all the sugar that's going through. So, yeah. Well, let's start first. Like, you are a patient, you are a weight loss patient. So kind of give us a run through of your story and where it started and how we got to where we are now.
So I grew up a really active kid. I was a gymnast. I was a competitive gymnast. And I pretty much I was always in like the highest percentile of weight growing up, but I wasn't overweight and I was always just solid muscle. You know, I was a gymnast, then I was a martial artist, then I was a dancer. But around my memories say high school, like middle school, high school, but that's because I was in middle school and high school in the 1990s when heroin chic was in. So if you had any ounce of fat on you, you were overweight. And
yeah,
you know, also having boomer parents who grew up with Twiggy.
Yes, that's the one that I know.
Yeah.
You
know, I also had that being projected where I was, you know, my dad one time. And again, now looking back, I know that he was doing the best he could with the information he had. When I was about 12 or 13, he told me I should always be 5 pounds underweight. That's way when I gained 5 pounds when I had my period, I wouldn't be overweight.
What?
Yeah. He doesn't think like this anymore.
I'm sure.
But that was the thinking. So I was told from a very young age that I needed to like lose weight. And I even go back now and look at like pictures from high school when I was told that I should be losing like 5, 10, 15 pounds. And I'm like, wait,
Hey, sunshines. Quick moment for real talk. If you're getting ready for bariatric surgery or you are somewhere in the messy middle of transformation, you already know the surgery is the easy part. It's everything else that gets overwhelming. That's why we've partnered with Pop Recovery Systems. They are not a doctor's office. They are not another app. They're an actual team of recovery experts who walk with you through the whole journey, from the pre-op nerves to the plastic stage, if you go that route. Pop gives you one-on-one support like mental health coaching, nutrition guidance, mobility help, wound healing tips, all personalized to your procedure. And honestly, they just make you feel less alone. Their community is full of people who get it, and their coaches show up for you in a way most of us wish we had the first time around. If you've been thinking, I wish someone could just tell me what's normal, what's not, Pop is literally that someone. You can book a free consult or join their community using the link in the show notes. Again, no pressure, just support when you need it.
But
Right.
I'm also a very broad build. So I have broad shoulders. I have a big rib cage. I'm very curvy, always have been. So I never fit that really like thin, delicate frame, which didn't help things. But in college, I started to gain weight because my activity level dropped. And I tried everything. I was on and off Weight Watchers for over 20 years. I tried the Suzanne Summers diet. I tried, I remember my parents being on Deal-A-Meal with Richard Simmons. So I always grew up with that culture.
Wow.
And in 2017, I discovered this kind of life coaching, weight loss program that was really great. And it was a lot of mindset work, a lot of reframing and things like that. And I did actually lose 40 pounds on that over 3 years and changed my thinking a lot. Well, in 2019, my husband passed away from cancer. And then 3 months later, we went into COVID lockdown.
Okay.
And I maintained that loss until September when the George Floyd riots started, and I started eating my feelings again.
Yeah.
And I gained back that 40 pounds plus another 15. And I hit my bottom when it was Christmas time, 2021, and I was so tired and in so much pain because I also have autoimmune that I couldn't go to my storage unit to get my Christmas decorations and carry them up my stairs to my apartment. So I bought a little tiny Christmas tree at the Christmas tree shop, and that was it. And something had to change. I do credit the weight loss coaching program that I did with getting me to the mindset of knowing that I could do weight loss surgery the right way, because I had been so resistant to it for so many years because I knew that it was mostly mental and that I wasn't going to be successful, having seen people have it done and regain and everything like that. So in right after New Year's 2022, I had my first appointment, and 6 months later I had my surgery, and that was a little over 3 years ago now. It took me 18 months to get to my goal. I gained back, I got to my lowest goal, and then I bounced back 8 pounds, which is normal. But also, I never picked a goal weight. I picked a 10-pound range I want it to be in.
Yes, that's huge.
Which was also a suggestion from that prior weight loss coaching, because if I eat Chinese food, I'm going to gain 10 pounds, just from the salt. So I have that range, and as long as I'm in that range, I'm okay. And I actually feel like I was looking really bony at that bottom weight. You could see all my ribs. That 8 pounds put just a little bit more meat back on me, and I feel more comfortable in my body.
Yeah. Well, and for those that are listening, let's kind of back up a little bit. So what was your highest? And then what kind of things did you have to do in those 6 months period to even get surgery? Did you have to go through some things in classes or appointments?
Kind of. So my highest weight was 268 pounds. And I'm only 5'4", or 5'3.5" technically. So that's a lot of weight. And
on a little frame. Yeah.
Yeah. I like to say I'm small but mighty, and my husband used to call me fun size. But I I mean, I had to do the, you know, I actually didn't have to go for the mental health evaluation because I already had a psychiatrist. So he wrote and he had worked, part of his work that he had done previously was working in bariatrics. So he wrote
Okay.
my evaluation for that. I had to go to the nutritionist. I had to have the endoscopy. But the 6 months was actually, my insurance made me wait 4 months, but then my parents were going on their first vacation since their 10-year wedding anniversary, and they're married over 40 years. And that would have fallen right around the time that I could have had my surgery. And I knew if I had the surgery, my mother would not have relaxed and enjoyed herself on vacation. So I
Okay.
chose to push it another month so that she could go and relax and enjoy.
Ah, very kind of you.
Yeah. So I actually had it on June 1st. So it's very easy for me to remember. But yeah, it was having to meet with a nutritionist, had to have an endoscopy just to make sure that I didn't have anything to preclude me from it. I did still have ulcers. I knew I had ulcers, but
Okay.
lucky me, they were the part of the stomach they cut out. So I don't have ulcers anymore. 2 birds, one
That's
stone.
amazing. That's right. That's right.
And I mean, I had to show that which this makes 0 sense. You have to show that you're losing weight before you have the weight loss surgery so that they know you're serious about it.
Yes.
Which, we wouldn't be here if we haven't been trying to lose weight. That's...
Well, it's just rude to even say, we know you're serious about it. It's like, okay, well, haven't you seen my history of me, going up and down, up and down? Like, I'm trying, but
Right.
nothing is working.
Right.
Thanks, people.
And I had lost 60, 70 pounds and then stalled for 3 months.
Yeah.
Didn't move an inch. And and after 3 months, went for a checkup with my surgeon. He's like, okay, what's going on? You were doing great. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. I'm doing everything right. It's just not moving. I hit 205 pounds and it's not moving. And I said to him, this happens every time. He goes, what do you mean? I said, every time I try to lose weight, I hit 205 pounds and stall. I might go down a pound or 2, but then I go right back up. He goes, every time. I said, Weight Watchers, and I named them all. I said, look, I didn't cut out 80% of my stomach to stall at 205 pounds. I could have done that on Weight Watchers again.
Yeah.
And he goes, that sounds like insulin resistance. I was like,
Mhm.
okay, what are we going to do about it? He goes, let's try a GLP-1. I was like, okay, cool. Because you guys had just started talking about them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I was like, yeah, sure, let's try it. And he's like, all right, cool. He's like, you're going to have to give yourself a shot. And I have autoimmune, so I already give myself shots. I'm like, not a problem.
Not a problem, sir. Gotcha.
So I know most people don't start losing on the lowest dose because for those of you who don't know, it's a step up. You do a month on the lowest dose and then you go up and up and up. And a lot of people don't lose on that first lowest dose. First week, 5 pounds.
I was going to say, I did. And I'm still on a year later. I'm still on a low dose. I've barely moved up at all. So I think it's because we're insulin resistant. We're actually insulin resistant. So it's a problem. Yeah.
I went up to the highest dose and my body and I don't get along with that dose.
No.
Oh my God. I hadn't thrown up in 20 years and I was throwing up all the time. I broke my streak and it was, and I finally was one morning I woke up, I was having such bad dry heaves, I couldn't go to work. And I called my doctor. I'm like, I can't do this. He goes, all right, we'll drop you back down. And I've been okay since.
Right? See?
So
sometimes, I think it's wise to play with the dose and see where it's perfect for you. But guys, just because some of these companies, some of them are not through a doctor, right? So some of them are where you go and you talk to some sort of doctor to give you the dose and then they just start upping it because you're telling them that you're okay with it. But really, you don't need to if you don't have to.
Right.
If you're losing, this is what I recommend. If you're losing and it's still half a pound or a pound a week, don't move it. Because I've done it, you've done it to where you don't feel good. You feel like shit, the brain fog, the nausea. I had nausea for 3 days straight. It was insane. And I couldn't take any Zofran because I was taking Lexapro at the time. And apparently you can't take Zofran with Lexapro. It could cause something.
No, but I think you can take Compazine, which is an old anti-nausea medicine, but Zofran doesn't work on me or my mother. So we have to take Compazine. So you might be able to ask for that. There's also
That's
another
a good
one,
idea.
Reglan. I only know these because my husband had cancer, so he was on all the medications. But
Yes, well, especially for nausea. Yeah.
But I mean, I literally one time was in the middle of teaching. I was like, "Hey guys, I just got to step out into the hall for a second." Legit, like, threw up in the garbage can in the hallway, went back in and kept teaching.
I believe it. Because I've puked at the First Form gym during JBY. I've puked in several different airports. I was door dashing and I had to pull over and I puked on the side of the road. Like, it just happens. And it's so fucking frustrating because you don't know right away.
Yeah.
Like, it's not something that's building. It's like, oh, all of a sudden within like 5 minutes, I feel shit. And then now I'm puking and then I'm back to what I was doing. It's like, it just needed to get out of you almost.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Once I dropped back down to that 1.7 dose, I was good. So,
very cool.
So that's
very
where I've
happy for you.
Been
so if I understand correctly, so you had your weight loss surgery and then you still kept getting to the same number. And so that's why he put you on the GLP-1.
Yes.
Got it. Cool. And then, and you have ADHD? Is that what I understand?
Yes. I have ADHD. Okay. I didn't get officially diagnosed till I was in college, but that's because when I was younger, girls couldn't have it.
Right. Wasn't a part of us, wasn't meant for us.
And the main reason is we present very differently. It's the same reason why for a long time girls didn't have autism, because they present differently than boys. And it's not the classic signs. But my mom would like read things and see things and be like, but that's my daughter. So, but yeah, and then I became an ADHD coach. And then I went on and got my master's in life coaching and counseling.
Oh, I love that.
So I ADHD coach. I use it mostly with my students because I work in an alternative setting. And I can't, I'm not credentialed to officially diagnose anybody, but even my students who aren't diagnosed have some sort of neurodiversity. If it's not full on ADHD, they have some sort of learning challenge. And I use a lot of those techniques that I do with my clients with my students. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's all personalized like anything else.
Of course. So what does that look like? So say you have no idea what ADHD is. Can you explain what is it and what are kind of the big flags of like, hey, you might have this?
Okay. So ADHD stands for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. There's 3 types. Some people will tell you there's 7 types, and there's 3 at least main types. ADHD inattentive, ADHD impulsive or hyperactive, and ADHD combined. ADHD combined is the most common. It's the one that I have, which means you have both the inattentive and the hyperactive. And it says attention deficit disorder, but what it actually is an overabundance of attention. Our brains don't filter out anything. So for instance, you guys, somebody who is neurotypical doesn't necessarily feel their clothes on their body.
Correct. Yes.
We do. And we will feel every tag. We will feel every sock seam. We will feel every underwear shift. Where most people don't feel that. If we're in a restaurant that's noisy, we can pay attention to everybody's conversation. Where most people can filter it out and focus.
Yeah.
We can't do that. And it's because our brains either don't produce enough of some neurotransmitter chemicals or they don't efficiently use it. So norepinephrine and dopamine are the 2 chemicals that we don't either have enough of or use efficiently. And one of the things that happens with it is when these chemicals are trying to get to the neurotransmitters, and this is so ADHD, they get distracted and lost. So they don't make the
Okay.
connections.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So a lot of people think it's a wiring issue, but it's a chemical issue. And at its
Okay.
core, ADHD is actually a nervous system issue because anything that happens in the brain affects the entire nervous system. So we also tend to have a lot of physical sensitivities like tags bothering us and things like that. We also tend to get overstimulated a lot, like too much going on can send us into complete shutdown. It can cause us to have chronic pain, chronic joint issues. So a lot of times you'll see people who are neurodivergent. We do what we call the T-Rex arms. We do we're like this, or we're like this, or like hands on the hips a lot. But that's because our joints tend to be a little more stretchy and they don't have enough support. So if we just let our arms dangle, it actually can get painful. But if we do this, our muscles are like supporting our arms, so it's less painful.
Right. So for those that are listening and not seeing us, go to YouTube, because we're literally doing all the hand motions and moving everything around, because it's true. And I've seen it. I have family members and friends that are ADHD, and I'm just picturing them in my head of like, yep, that's exactly how they stand or hold themselves. Like, it's really funny.
And I'm also from New Jersey, so we always talk with our hands.
Yeah. It's fair. Totally fair.
And so it affects everything. Our nervous systems are jacked. We experience pain differently. We either have a really high pain tolerance or a really low pain tolerance, but we could also have both depending on what type of pain. And it also we're not really good at controlling our emotions. We deal with something called rejection sensitivity dysphoria, where either a real or perceived rejection can send us over the edge. It's like we're always, think of a teenager who is like in their first relationship and they're not hearing from their girlfriend or boyfriend, and they start to melt down because they think that they hate them. Now imagine doing that in your 40s, because it's the same. Like, we don't grow out of it. Our brains they just do it. Although I will say, since I've learned about rejection sensitivity dysphoria about 5 years ago, I personally can control it a lot easily, because I can recognize, okay, this is what's happening. That's not true, but it's not something we can necessarily control at first. And I say all of this because we look for ways to make ourselves feel better. And we also have impulsivity issues, a lot of us. So lack of impulse control, a lack of attention, like we can zone out really easily and just not be paying attention to exactly what we're doing. A lack of being able to regulate our nervous system leads to us seeking comfort. And or looking for something to boost our dopamine and norepinephrine. And guess what food does? All of those things.
Yeah, I was going to say probably everything.
Yep. And it also gives us a reason to take a break, because a lot of times, so a child with ADHD gets something like, I'm terrible with numbers because I also have other learning disabilities, but it's something like 10,000 more corrections by the time they're 10 years old than a neurotypical child.
Oh, wow.
Because we're constantly being told, sit down, be quiet, stop moving, stop talking, right? And just those things. And a lot of times when we would feel like we need to take a break and we do sit down, it's like, why are you sitting? There's stuff to be done. But if you're eating, nobody's going to tell you to get up and do something until you're finished your snack.
Mm-hmm. And then you're feeling good with all the food that you just ate, because it's hitting all of those receptors and like all the things. Yeah.
Right. And we're also really bad at paying attention to what we're doing. So it's really easy to say like, oh, I'm just going to have a couple of chips, and all of a sudden the bag is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And we're really bad at creating habits. Like, we don't really create habits most of the time. So like that habit of not buying certain things, or that habit of, I only eat at these times, just doesn't really stick with us. So all of that can lead to issues with weight.
Yeah, I would imagine. There's a lot of like happy parts of it. So it's like, why not eat?
Right.
So So we're learning that a lot of ADHD people probably do have some sort of weight issue.
A lot do. There are some who are actually underweight, but that could also be because of like sensory issues. Or a lot of times ADHD medications can curb appetite because they're stimulants.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, I always recommend that my clients go to a psychiatrist for their medications because, and this is the way I describe it, if you have diabetes, you're going to go to an endocrinologist to prescribe your medication because that's the part of the body they deal with.
Right.
So if you have to deal with brain chemistry, you should go to the person, especially if it's going to be long term. You should go to the person that deals with the brain. Especially since what I have seen is like a pediatrician can prescribe it, but it's not their forte. And they might not know the nuances of it. And more is not necessarily better when it comes to ADHD medications. And I've seen many of my friends who have been on medications and a couple of my clients who have been very over medicated.
Okay. Yeah.
Which kind of gives like,
that.
Like if you hear somebody saying like, yeah, my ADHD medication, it destroys my appetite and I feel like a zombie, they're over medicated. It could be that they're on the wrong medication too, but chances are they have too much medication and it's shutting them down too much.
Just slowly and surely, just little bit by little. Yeah. That sucks.
Yeah. So some do have trouble keeping weight on for those reasons, but it's not uncommon to see, weight issues with people with ADHD.
So if you have these signs, do we just go straight to the PCP or should we just call like the neurologist and be like, hey, I'd like to get in? Like, how do we do this?
My recommendation is always to go online and go to like a reputable site. So there's a couple of like ADHD organizations that they have like self-tests. And that'll give you a good idea because, there's the term, well, everybody's a little ADHD, it's an ableist thing to say. But yes, everybody does forget their keys or misplace their glasses or leave their lunch at home or have brain fog, especially if you're a woman who's perimenopause, you are going to have brain fog no matter what. Also, ADHD is really affected by female hormones. So it'll be worse in the week before and during your period, and it gets really bad during perimenopause.
I would imagine. Yeah, because the hormones are just going all over the place. Yeah.
But it's whether or not it is interfering with your day-to-day life. Like if you just forget your lunch at home every now and then, that's not ADHD. If you forget your lunch every day, that might be, as well as everything else, that might be, Oh
yeah, like my ex-husband, who was like legit, like he would forget his keys for phone, his sunglasses, all over the place, like to the point where I've actually gone back into movie theaters to get his phone or his glasses or whatever because he's searching somewhere else, like, and it's there. So I'm like, I'm gonna go to the last place we were, and most of the time that's where it was. And it's like I would tell him all the time, like, just keep everything on your person. Why are we like, but he would spread things all over the place. Like even with like at the theater, it would be like one was in the cup holder, the other thing's in the seat. Like it's not, the things weren't even together. And I'm just like, I could totally tell. I'm like, I told him, I was like, I do think you have ADHD. Well, like this happens way too often for us to ignore it. But he refused to get diagnosed or get checked. And I think that would solve a lot of his actual health issues. Because like you're saying, things come along with that.
Right. And there's especially also a lot of self-medicating
that people do. What does that look like?
So self-medicating, now ADHD medication, there are non-stimulant medications, but the main medication is a stimulant. It will have words like amphetamine in it. So they are controlled substances. They are technically considered, addictive substances. However, it's really hard to say that they're an addictive substance to population of people who consistently forget to take them. I have never met a true addict who forgot to take their drugs.
They don't.
No.
Not at all.
No.
Nope.
But untreated ADHD, and there are people who can be successful without taking medication. I didn't take medication for many years because of, well, they were very, very new when I was younger. And my pediatrician was like, we're going to wait and see. He was old school from Italy. So he was like, we're going to wait and see. And then it was the 90s and everybody was getting over medicated. So I chose not to, but then I hit perimenopause and I couldn't function anymore. So I started taking it. I'm on a low dose, but that's also because I have a lot of skills. So I just needed that boost.
Right. It sounds like you've been through it a lot. So you kind of learned habits and tips and tricks to help yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
So untreated and unmanaged ADHD can lead to self-medication because, how can I put this? Like, if you're in college and you're experimenting with drugs, which people in college do, and there's no judgment here, you experiment. And you say take some sort of stimulant drug, whether it's cocaine or any of those. I don't know all the names of them. There's meth, there's crack. If you take any of those and you're suddenly cleaning your house, chances are your ADHD. I actually had a student, like I said, I work in an alternative setting. And I've worked in a couple of alternative settings, and I once had a student say, I don't know why people say they get hyper on crack. The one time I did it, I just got sleepy and relaxed. I was like,
interesting.
So I text my brother, who is a therapist and is credentialed to diagnose these things. I just texted him, just heard a student say this. Can I diagnose him? Can I? And his response was, I mean, ... Yeah. So if a stimulant, like if you take coffee naps, like
I've heard of these people. Yeah.
I'm not an ADHDer who can take coffee naps, but my cousin can. He can drink a pot of coffee at 10 o'clock at night and go straight to bed and sleep like a baby.
That's wild.
But yeah. So if you take coffee naps, there might
You're
be
probably ADHD.
something going. Yeah. So, but people will like play around with recreational drugs and be like, oh crap, when I take cocaine, I can write my paper. I can clean my house. I can study.
And that's why they get addicted to it too.
Right.
Because they're getting shit done. So they're like, this makes me feel productive and happy. And I'm getting stuff done. So everyone else is happy too. So it's like, it's such that dopamine. You're just like, yay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Stimulants boost dopamine and norepinephrine. But the difference is street drugs aren't controlled. So you're not going to have a consistent dosage. Where if you have it prescribed, like I take 18 milligrams of Concerta, which is an extended release Ritalin. Every pill is 18 milligrams.
Right.
And that's part of the difference. You also don't have to worry about fentanyl being mixed into it. But also...
Yeah, guys, you do not get your ADHD meds from the street, please.
No.
Because that is one very dangerous, guys.
Yeah.
And we know fentanyl has been laced in almost every single thing these days. So just go to your doctors.
Yeah. Please. Including like they're finding it in marijuana now. So go to your dispensaries in your states where it's legal.
Yeah. Always go to the legitimate dealer that you're supposed to go to, whether that's CVS pharmacy or Walgreens pharmacy or a dispensary. Like you need to just be very diligent about, I think what we've learned through weight loss surgery is you got to be careful what you actually do put in your body. It's going to affect you pretty fast. Within 15-20 minutes, those pills, whatever you're drinking, eating is affecting your body. So just get it from the right places. We don't want you to get hurt at all on your journey whatsoever. That's why me and Rebecca do the things that we do. Like she is a coach for ADHD for a reason, because she has it, and two, she wants to give back and help those that have it. Like I totally get that urge to help the other person. So
and and I'm in a helping profession even in my regular job as a teacher. So it goes hand in hand. But even food can be a self-medication because, again, eating boosts that dopamine and that norepinephrine, which is going to give you the boost to get stuff done. And so again, it's all cyclical, and much like we are with weight gain, weight loss, the decision to have the surgery, there's also a lot of shame around any type of mental health condition, which also tends to stop people from seeking the help they need. So that's also another big reason why people self-medicate with any substance, whether it's legal, illegal, pharmaceutical, pantry related, any of those things really have
Right.
you, just looking for ways to deal with it. And I also think that that's another thing, both in the weight loss surgery community and in the ADHD community, is no, I need to do this by myself. I need to handle this myself.
Yeah.
Because
That's how we've always felt. Like, I'll just do it myself. I'll figure it out myself.
well, also, they both get shamed for a lack of willpower and self-control. So people who are overweight tend to be like, well, you have no willpower. You have no self-control. That's why you're like this.
Mm-hmm.
People with ADHD who act impulsively and who, don't follow norms and who interrupt conversations also are told you don't have willpower. You don't have self-control. So there's a lot of correlation there too, is that, okay, I need to handle this on my own so that I can prove that I have this self-control. Which is also the same reason why a lot of us delay having weight loss surgery. Like, no, I should be able to do this.
Yeah, like what I see it all the time with weight loss surgeries, with GLP-1s, with just going to the doctor in general and just to see if you need anything. Everyone's like, nope, I can do it by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, actually, we're creatures of being social and we need help from other people. And it's okay to ask for help, and there's nothing wrong with it. And it's such a suck, because like you can really delay your happiness by, if you could just ask for the help and go get the help that you need. If you need to be on medications, who cares? It's your body. You get to do whatever you want with it. And if your doctor goes, hey, this ADHD med will really help you be focused and make you feel better, then like, why not? Right? Like, why are we hindering ourselves?
Right. And I equate it a lot to diabetes, because in diabetes, your pancreas isn't making and functioning properly to make the proper amount of chemicals to control your blood sugar. So you have to go to a doctor to get on medication to control that so you don't die. Mm-hmm. Well, your brain is the same way. Your brain is not making or using the proper chemicals. And untreated ADHD can actually lead to a younger life expectancy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do we find out about that?
Well, some of it is risk taking.
Okay, that makes sense. Yep.
And some of it is, I actually have not done a lot of research into it because life, but there's some other theories about, just lifestyle in general and some other things. It's on my list, my very long, ever-growing list of things to do more research into about ADHD. But yeah, the life expectancy can be shortened.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Because I know people that literally make really impulsive decisions and then regret it later. Mm. And then they go, oh shit, that might have been part of my ADHD. And it's like, it probably 100% was. I'm also learning about this like shopping problem, where some will have like these moments where they go and they shop. And then the next day they look and they're like, what the fuck did I just do? Have you experienced anything like that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Again, it's anything that's going to give you that happy feel good chemical.
Yeah.
And buying yourself a little treat is that happy feel good chemical. Lots of different things give us that dopamine hit. That's why, video games are so popular too.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, you can absolutely. And here, the thing about dopamine, which can be used to our advantage if you know how to harness it, it's cumulative in a way. So one thing I recommend always doing is like, to my clients is like, say you have a list of things you need to get done today. I always say start with the easiest one. Mm-hmm. That's going to take the least amount of time, because you're going to get a dopamine hit So you're going to be more likely to go on and do the next task, which is going to give you a dopamine hit, which is going to, and it snowballs.
Yep. That's actually why the whole make your bed in the morning is a big deal, and it really helps people, because you're like, you walk by your room so many times in a day and you're like, I did that.
Right.
My bed, my bed's made. And you're totally right. It does a whole effect of you doing more and more throughout the day.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that dopamine hit for us with ADHD who also have impulse control issues can also help us in a negative way, because I just had to go buy, a blouse for an interview that I have. And, it felt really good to buy that. Well, now I have to go food shopping. Oh, look, there's a Snickers bar. And, oh, look, that's on sale. That dopamine hit just keeps happening in every store you go to and you buy. And then you wake up the next morning and there's and you look at your bank account, and you look at the pile of stuff and you're like, no. And then sometimes you have to do that buyer's remorse walk of shame.
Yeah. Return it all.
Yep. And you make an excuse like, yeah, but I got it home and it just didn't fit or whatever.
Or it's like, it doesn't work with my other decor. So I'm going to, especially for the TJ Maxx people, the home goods people, I get it. I don't even walk in there for reasons. It's not, and it's not because I'll go crazy. It's more or less I'm buying shit I don't need.
Right.
I just not and that's actually check kind of who you hang out with and who your friends and family are too, because you can make it can be actually harder for you if you're going out with people that are very whimsy with their money, because then it makes you feel like you should. And then you get yourself into financial troubles and everything like that.
And then if we're also talking about people who have had a dramatic weight loss, and now we've gone from having 5 options of shirts we can buy to having 25 options of shirts we can buy. And I don't know about you, but I was very overwhelmed in the beginning.
Yeah.
You're it's kind of we have so much room for activities. We have so many options. Now I want to buy all of them because I didn't used to be able to wear these things, and now I can. I went to my first concert after losing weight. It was a New Kids on the Block concert because my parents got me and my brother tickets.
Ah, that's funny.
But it was good. It was actually a really fun time. But I got to buy a women's cut concert t-shirt for the first time in my adult life at
That's awesome.
45 years old, right?
That's wild.
Yeah. But
mind blown.
But that just shows you that we had so few options that there were times I couldn't even get a man's cut t-shirt. And I had to buy I think I went to a Bon Jovi concert and I got the necklace because I was I'm not buying another shapeless man's t-shirt.
Right. There's no point.
Right.
But you want a little token.
Right. And I'm this will fit me at any size.
Exactly. And I feel that so hard because it was amazing to finally walk into a regular store, even Ross Dress for Less. It was nice to be able to go to the large and extra large size, and shit's cheaper, by the way, the smaller you get sometimes, depending on where you're shopping. Kind of wild. I mean, it makes sense in the long run. Oh yes, you're covering more of a body, there's more fabric, you're going to cost more. But those bitches would charge a lot more, not just a little bit more, $20. And I'm for what, 2 inches?
I remember when Lane Bryant raised their prices and it was ridiculous.
Right?
Yeah.
I remember that too. And I got so tired of all the sparkles and the bedazzled shirts and so yeah, when I could finally go into it, even just a Target and get regular stuff, I was so stoked. And I will say, you can tell the difference. I used to have 5 shirts, 2 pairs of jeans, a couple sweaters, called it good. And now I have winter clothes. I have summer clothes. It's kind of crazy. I'm and I did go through a shopping phase. I'm not ADHD. But I definitely do have random little tendencies here and there, but not to where I need to get diagnosed and take some medicine. But I've also put a lot of habits in place so that way I don't forget things. So that way I block out time to make sure I'm working and doing these things, because I've dealt with a lot of my friends are ADHD, and it's because I think it's because I'm drawn to them. And what I've been told by them, it's because I'm very like nonchalant. So I'm really quick at being able to like change the mood, being able to go with the flow. So ADHD people, find your friends that are just kind of chill, because it's going to help you in the long run. Is there any like tips and tricks that you've dealt with throughout the years that you think would be really helpful for someone that's going through this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If we're talking about like anything food related, and I'm a really bad example of this right now because sitting next to me is a bag of chips with a chip clip on it that I've just kind of ate out of before, but I also still have a lot of restriction. But if eating the entire bag is your problem, don't keep the entire bag around, break it up into individual servings.
Yes, yes.
Because then you have to, even if you want another serving, you have to get up and you have to walk into the kitchen and you have to get that other serving. It's not just sitting there mindlessly eating. Like you have to consciously make that decision. And sometimes that will stop you because there's also ADHD fatigue and burnout. And sometimes it's like, I am comfortable on this couch and there is nothing that's going to, besides my bladder, that is going to make me get off of it right now.
That's fair. Totally fair. Yep.
Keeping things visible. So we also have object permanence issues. At its core, ADHD is an executive function disorder. So those things like object permanence, time management, task initiation, all of those things are affected. Setting timers and reminders that actually go off is hugely helpful for things like I will set a timer to, like, if I need to sit down for a few minutes, because like I said, I have some autoimmune conditions, one of them being arthritis, one of them being fibromyalgia. And sometimes I just need to like sit for a few minutes in between doing a chore. I set that timer because that 5 minutes can turn into 5 hours real easy. But keeping things out visual is also going to help. So like if you have to take medication every day and you know you forget to take medication every day, keep it where you're going to see it. I keep it by my coffee maker. I am going to have coffee every morning.
Yeah, no matter what, you know it.
I get up, I go to the bathroom, I get dressed, I start my coffee, I feed my pet rabbit, I get my coffee, I go back and put my milk in my coffee and drink it. And the first thing I do after I put the milk in the coffee is put the pills in my hand and take them with my first sip of coffee. Keeping things, I also keep it extra, I also dose them out in a pill organizer. And I always have an extra 1 or 2 sets of pills in my purse in case I somehow do still forget to take, because that happens. I forgot to take it this morning. I somehow got distracted and didn't take my pills this morning. And I realized, because I also have an alarm set on my watch at 8:15, just in case I have forgotten. So I was able to go to my purse and still take them.
Oh, I love that. You had like a fail safe just in case.
Yep. You just got to remember to refill it after you take it. I have disposable toothbrushes.
Okay. Yeah.
In my classroom, in my car, because, and this might just be a weird ADHD sensory thing, but like, I'm not going to brush my teeth before my coffee because then it's going to taste funny.
Okay. Yeah.
But then I will get distracted by something and forget to brush my teeth. And like halfway to work, I'm like, ew. So I used to just keep like a travel toothbrush in my desk drawer at work and in the car, but disposable toothbrushes are even easier. They already have the toothpaste on them.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that existed. Yeah, that's amazing.
Amazon pre-pasted disposable toothbrushes.
Okay.
It's also come in handy for my students sometimes when they've had like something super garlicky.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think we've all had something super garlicky before.
Yeah.
Been like,
like an everything bagel. And they're like, I think one of them had it everything bagel right before graduation. And she was like, I can't go through graduation like this. And I'm like, I got you. And she thought it was the greatest thing in the world, the pre-pasted toothbrush.
Me too.
So, it's, like I said, routines and habits aren't something that we easily put together and easily have, but we can have things in place to help us when it happens. I mean, I do have certain routines. Like my morning
Right.
routine, I don't even think about it anymore. It's what I do. And I always do it in that order. In
That's
fact,
fair.
yeah, in fact, my pet rabbit knows that when I let her out of her pen and go into the kitchen, that she's going to be getting, and she just sits by her bowl. So like,
She's so cute.
yeah, she's even trained. She's like, okay, breakfast now. So having stuff like that in place can be really helpful. I meal prep on Sundays, and I only meal prep lunches and breakfasts, and I put them into individual containers. So
Okay.
all I have to do in the morning is pull it out, put my ice pack in my lunchbox, put the container in my lunchbox.
Then done.
Done.
I love it.
And another trick is to make big batches of things and freeze them in individual servings.
Oh, smart.
Yeah, so they have these things called super cubes. They're these, and they have off-brand ones that are cheaper. They are silicone freezer thingies that freeze them into like different sizes. So down from a quarter cup up to like 2 or 3 cups. And
Oh,
then you
wow.
can,
That's impressive.
yeah, and then you can pop them out, and then I vacuum seal them. And
Oh,
it's
there you
great
go.
for like a weekend where things are crazy and you don't have time to do the meal prep. Like
Mm-hmm.
right now I have taco meat in there in some individual servings. I have a couple of soups in there in individual servings that I can just take out, put in a bowl, and take to work with me if I need to.
Oh, I love that for you.
And it's also
So
really
is that-
great for like quick dinners.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what you're showing is just put things in place that works for you
Mhm,
and how you live.
mhm.
So that way you can make it easier for yourself throughout the day to make sure you're hitting your goals and making sure you just feel successful. Because I think that's also what's hard too, is like with people, is that if they don't feel like they're on the right track or doing the right things, and they can just get in their heads, overthink things, and then make themselves feel like shit. And then now we're in like a whole different kind of like depression cycle.
Right. And actually,
Yeah.
that's one of the signs of females with ADHD is overthinking. That's one of our manifestations of hyperactivity. That's why it takes us so long to get diagnosed. We typically get diagnosed around puberty, after we have kids, or around menopause. If you notice, it's all hormonal related.
Hormonal, yep.
But it's because we're not the typical picture of the ADHD kid. We're not that kid who's disrupting class, jumping off of the monkey bars, doing all of those things, which is how males typically present. Our hyperactivity usually comes in talking a lot, overthinking, things along of those natures. And that's also tends to be how it changes in adulthood too. So it used to be believed that ADHD went away in adulthood, and it doesn't. It just changes because now we have to fit even more into society.
I was going to say it's just different.
Yeah.
Because you are responsible for a hell of a lot more now than you ever were.
Right. But
Yeah.
you still see a lot of that risk-taking behavior, and the risk-taking behavior is still different between males and females, even in adulthood.
Yeah.
Part of it is
I would-
societal,
Yeah.
but part of it is just how it manifests.
Well, because I know like my brother's ADHD, and it's funny because like 6-7 years ago, he's like, I don't believe in ADHD, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's just a hoax. And then like his new wife has ADHD and she's diagnosed. And then he decided, of course, to get checked because it's just so many signs. And yeah, 100% is. And like, he feels so good now that he has his medicine, and he's like, I'm on it, like getting everything done. And I think that just feels better for people. Get that diagnosis, get yourself on the right track. And it could be for anything. Like you might not know that you're insulin resistance. Like I didn't know until I started taking a GLP-1, because I was the same way. Like me and my brother would go work out. Of course, men lose faster and different than us, but it would get so fucking frustrating to where like I would get to a low number, not really low, but it'd be lower for me, like 240, 230, and just never fucking break it. But then I had surgery, it broke that. But then I did have a relapse, I call it that, like a regain basically in year 8. And it took me a while to recognize, to see it on myself, to ask for help, and then to realize like, oh my God, I'm taking a GLP-1. It's working fantastic. And we talked about it with my doctor, and it's like, oh, you're actually insulin resistant. We just didn't know because you didn't have the markers of being pre-diabetic and you were not diabetic at all. But diabetes does run in my family, like on both sides. So it's like we just had no idea because you never got to that point. But you do have insulin resistant issues in your body. And it's like, oh my God, like if we could, I mean, I'm 38. I just found that out last year. So it's like, well, I wish I would have known sooner.
And getting diagnosed with anything is so validating. So a lot of people are like, well, why do you need the label? Well, because if I don't get diagnosed with whatever it is, I'm just a weird horse. But if I get diagnosed, I'm a normal zebra.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'll tell you a quick GLP-1 story. So my mom, her thyroid shut down when she was pregnant with my brother. My brother's 41. And she gained like 70 pounds when she was pregnant with my brother. And she was tiny back then.
Yeah.
And he was born in 84. So after she had him, they had to wait. And when her thyroid finally settled, she was a normal low, literally 1 point above being low. But back in 1984, or 85, they didn't medicate you for that.
No.
And she has never been able to lose the weight since my brother was born. So I get put on the GLP-1, and she is, having seen friends and family members go through going to the diet doctor in the 60s and getting put on medications, and family members doing fen-phen, which literally gave them heart conditions that they died from. You know, eventually, heart valve issues and everything. She was like, I'm not taking anything. And the GLP-1s came out. She's like, I don't know about these things. And
I'd be scared if I were her. I get it. Yeah.
So I started taking it, and she's like, you do whatever you got to do. I want you to be healthy. We'll see how this goes. And then I listened to your podcast when you talked to the doctor, and I think you asked, are there any cardiac side effects? And they said, no, it's actually cardiac protective. Now, there's major heart disease.
Her name's Lydia Alexander, and her episode, I know it so well. It's number 199 and 200. Go back and listen to it, because she's the one that got me to not be scared of it anymore. Yeah.
So, my mom at that point had already had one stent put in her heart, and she's recently had another one put in her heart, but she doesn't eat to be as heavy as she was or to have the heart problems. But her father died at 49 of what we now know as a widowmaker. There's so much heart disease in her family that when I heard that it was cardiac protective, I did not want to try to teach my mom how to get a podcast on her Android phone. So I sent her the link to the YouTube video, and I said, watch between these times. And she's like, why? And I told her, she's like, okay. And I guess about an hour later, I get a phone call back. She goes, okay, which doctor should I go see for this?
Oh my God.
So I said, well, why don't you start with your endocrinologist? I said, and if for some reason he doesn't want to prescribe it, let me, you can go see my surgeon. She's like, I don't want surgery. She's already had a lot of abdominal surgery, and she has like scar tissue. And I'm like, he prescribes without doing the surgery too. She's like, okay. So she went to her endocrinologist, and he's like, yeah, I think that would be good for you. He's like, but I want to do just some more blood work just to rule out a couple more things. And she was like, okay. So they did that. They want to check her cortisol levels. And they said, no, let's try it. And she started losing weight. And since she had my brother, she's only ever been able to lose 25 pounds. She's done Weight Watchers. It was too much food. When she had her first stent, they gave her the food plan. And she's like, I eat like this. And of course, they're all looking at her like, you're crazy, lady. You're like over 250 pounds. There's no way you eat like this. My dad comes to pick her up. He's like, she eats like this. I don't. According to you, I should be in that bed. Like, my dad loves to eat what he calls the heart attack burger. It's got like 4 cheeses and the bacon,
Oh, yeah.
And she started losing weight, and she didn't change her diet because she didn't have to. And then she got to like under 220 pounds. And she's like, I haven't been this weight since I've been your age. And then I got a phone call when she broke 200.
Oh my God.
And she's
so
lost
cool.
like 70, 80 pounds. It's been slow. It's been a lot slower for her. She's also had some other surgeries and stuff in between where she's had to go off of it. She did stop losing on Wegovy and switch to Mounjaro and is doing well on that. She doesn't care how she loses it, but she's In fact, I don't know if you remember the sweater I wore to JBY on the first night. It had like the seashells on it.
Oh, yeah.
She actually got that for her, but she's like, why don't you take it with you on your trip? She goes, it's a medium. I got it for me. It's a little snug on me right now, but take it on your trip. It's a nice lightweight sweater. I was like, okay, cool. So I'm folding it to pack it and I put it in and I see the tag and I call her and I go, Mom, that's a small. She's like, it's a what? She's like, you're kidding me. And she looked at her order because she ordered on QVC like all moms do. And she's like, you're right. It's a small.
Yeah.
She goes, I know it runs big, but I don't care. It's a small. But that just goes to show you how validating it can be. She feels so validated and vindicated because she has for 40 years, literally, I'm not even exaggerating. My brother was 40. For 40 years, she was telling doctors, I don't eat to weigh what I weigh.
She doesn't.
And one medication changed it.
Isn't that so wild to me?
Yeah.
It's just so powerful. Because, like, one, that makes me, like, I love hearing these stories because it reassures me what I'm doing is right. Because your mom would have, if you didn't hear that, your mom would have never gone on in it. And now she would have been over 80 pounds heavier and not happy and doing the things that she's doing. So tell your mom hi and I love her. It's so fucking rad. And two, like, guys, this is how powerful it can be. Like, just ask for help.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, she tried Jenny Craig and, like I said, Deal a Meal and Slim Fast and all of them.
All of it. Yeah. Yeah.
And like nothing worked because nothing was going to work because it had nothing to do. And she's 72 and she strength trains twice a week. She could bench press like over 150 pounds.
Yeah.
So she's not.
That's wild.
Yeah. So she's not like the type of like old lady who just sits in her chair and crochet. She does sit in her chair and crochet. Don't get me wrong. But that's not all she's doing.
No, not at all. No.
And now she's like, again, she can go to Kohl's if she needs something and pick it up real quick.
Yeah.
I had that moment for JBY because I had brought a dress to wear for the bowling alley night, not realizing it was an actual bowling alley.
Actual bowling alley? Yeah.
And then I went on a tour and we passed it. And I was like, I need pants. And I was able to just run to Target and buy pants.
Right? And back in the day, we couldn't do that. No. We'd have to find a Lane Bryant, a Torrid, something.
An Avenue, a Fashion Hub, a Dress Barn.
Exactly. For us to just get something. And it wouldn't have been as cheap either.
No.
Guaranteed.
No.
There's
and
no
these pants
way.
look good on me. They're like a 3/4, which on me, I'm short. So it's like an ankle length. And yeah.
I like that.
Really
I love that, Rebecca. So before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to add to this episode that you think maybe we missed or we'd like to talk about before we go?
Basically, learning how to pay attention to your body is important. I mean, as overweight people, we tend to be disconnected from our bodies anyway. And then if we've lost a bunch of weight, we have a new body to get connected to. Or to pupper. Sorry.
Yeah, for those that are watching, I got Miss Nova on my lap. She was like sleeping the whole time, and now she's like, I need my pets.
Like, pay attention to me.
I need them.
But if you having ADHD, or really, if you have any other neurodiversity condition, so that could be autism, that could even be like dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, because our brains, I also have a couple of those. Our brains also work differently. Learning how to connect and to recognize signs in your body and to trust what your body is telling you can be difficult.
I believe it.
Because again, our nervous systems are jacked up. So, one thing that we all have a really hard time doing is controlling our body temperature. And like, I remember having hot flashes as a 5-year-old, and all of a sudden I would have to like rip my sweatshirt off because it was I would get like so hot. It would be like prickly on my skin.
That sucks. At 5.
Right. But when you're dealing with that from such a young age, you're like, it's hard to connect to your body because there like nobody else in the room was hot. So why was I suddenly having to like rip my sweatshirt off? So, just learning how to pay attention to your body and what it's saying. It might be harder for us to learn what our hunger signals are, especially since now with surgery, we have even different hunger signals than we used. Like my stomach doesn't growl. I get burpy when I start to like burp, but I haven't eaten anything. I also get burpy after I eat, but I start to get burpy and I haven't eaten. It's to the point where my students are like, what period's your lunch miss? You're getting really burpy. You should maybe have a snack.
Oh, how funny. They know.
They also know when I'm having a brain fog day because I'll like lose a word and they'll be like, hold on, Mrs. Buffering.
Ah, I love it.
They can be really sweet, but they're teenagers, so they can also be jerks.
Yep. 100%.
Oh yeah. So, that's going to be the main thing, reach out for help if you have a hard time. Psychiatrist can prescribe. Psychiatrists and psychologists and LPCs, licensed professional counselors, they can all diagnose. But LPCs and psychologists can't prescribe. But also neurologists can diagnose and prescribe. So if you're having a hard time finding a mental health professional who you can get an appointment with, because right now the mental health profession is very much overwhelmed. One thing COVID showed us was that we have a mental health crisis in this country. So it might, for some people, especially in some areas, it might be easier to get in with a neurologist than a psychologist or a psychiatrist. And if you already have a neurologist, you can always start there. Because again, nervous system.
Mm-hmm. Always.
Yeah. And sometimes even if they're like, no, you have to go to a psychiatrist, sometimes getting a referral from an already established doctor can sometimes get you in a little faster.
That's what I've seen. As long as they've been referred.
Yeah.
You have to pay for the visit.
Well, yeah.
Which can be like, some people it's out of pocket, some people it's not out of pocket. So just check your insurance. But yeah, like typically get a referral so that way you can get on the medicine. And typically they'll refer you out. Like they're not going to let you not, just sit there suffering, especially if they know that you're ADHD. They're like, we want this lady or a man to like feel better.
Right.
So,
and your primary can prescribe for you. I would go with one of those online self-tests I talked about, and I'll send you some links if you want to link them in the description.
I would love to.
And I'll also send my contact information if anybody wants to, reach out, whether it's for coaching or for questions. But, go with the test to your primary doctor, and they might be able to prescribe something in the short term because it might be a couple months before you can get those appointments in this current climate. And the other thing is you're going to have to advocate for yourself.
No matter what.
Guys,
you're going to have to.
But also having a diagnosis, like I said, it takes you from being a weird horse to a normal zebra. It can be validating your experiences, but also if you're struggling at work or school, you're entitled to accommodations.
Yes, you are.
It is part of the American with Disabilities Act.
What is that called? I think they're on a
504 plan if you're in school. So an IEP is for is an individualized education plan, which are for things like learning disabilities, things like dyslexia, dyscalculia, but also like cognitive issues and stuff like that. A 504 plan is for anything that is medical, which includes ADHD because it's more medical than psychological, but that's also people who have like kidney issues, who might have to like go to the bathroom more than, 3 times a day or something like that. So, or has asthma. I was on a 504 plan because I had to carry my EpiPen and my inhaler with me in school because I have anaphylaxis and asthma. It's those things. In college, you would just go to your disabilities office and your disabilities counselor and get an accommodations form. And at work, you would go through your HR department's ADA office, your American with Disabilities office.
Nice. Well, I love that. Thank you so much for explaining all of this because it's so much.
It's a lot.
And you know that. It's a lot. And people live with it every day and they don't know what to do. And I feel for you guys. Like, you guys know my mission's always just to make sure you guys feel good and be doing stuff that's hurtful to yourself. Like, we want everything to be easy and helpful. So I'm going to have all the links, all the resources below. So that way you can take these tests and figure out what to do near you. And of course, everybody, make sure you're drinking your water, taking your protein, getting those vitamins. Actually, they're on this side. And I take ProCare. They're up because I wanted you guys to see it.
Me too.
Right. See, ProCare bandwagon. I love it. So yeah. And if you guys need anything, reach out. And of course, don't be an asshole to one another. Until next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Our Sleep Life podcast. Don't forget to head over to my YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, and follow me on all the socials so you stay connected. And remember, until next time, keep shining bright.